People can make things look any way they want. But unless you've seen something yourself, it should always be up for debate. Antarctica is no exception. Antarctica is so interesting. One, because no one can even go there. It's got a huge amount of bases, and my research found me over 50 photos that you definitely haven't seen before. Stick around to see those photos and my opinion about what Antarctica is. The Antarctic Treaty is the main culprit why you and I can't go visit Antarctica. The Antarctic Treaty allows for bases and also for those bases to guard the area from civilians or planes flying over. I mean, it's really quite the hotspot. Even CERN has a facility there. CERN has even been helping conduct experiments such as Beanie Mount. So this Beanie Mount experiment involves putting ground-penetrating radars around the area to determine snow density. Didn't already know, ground radars emit EMFs, which is electromagnetic frequency, and electromagnetic frequencies emit heat. Are these guys retarded, stupid, or in on it? Because they're trying to figure out why the ice is melting while putting something that generates heat into the ice.
It's becoming warmer up there. I believe myself the whole world is becoming warmer. Now, why is the South Pole important? Why do we go down there? It is because the bottom of the world is an untouched reservoir of natural
That's funny, because I didn't think that's what Operation High Jump was about. And hey, why is it called Operation High Jump anyway? What a coincidence that Roman forces invaded Britain centuries earlier on the same day. Seriously though, if that's all they were doing, looking for natural resources, why is it like 20 years later they're setting off nuclear explosions in the area? Oh, and hey, why is that called Operation Fishbowl? Oh, okay, they were just pointing nuclear explosions straight up at the sky and setting them off. That's totally normal. Never mind. This is a supposed photo of said nuclear explosion. The first aircraft to land on Antarctica was called Que Sera Sera. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera.
And if that wasn't creepy enough, there's literally bases called Deception, Dome, and Great Wall. I mean, that's really odd too. One could wonder why they called one of their bases Great Wall if we hadn't seen these photos. And with more bases in Antarctica than what's situated outside the government, they're clearly hiding something. I mean, does natural science honestly need an entire fortified army behind it? I don't think so.
Strengthening environmental regulation is especially important as tourism to the Antarctica increases.
As long as there remains anything unknown on the face of this earth we live on, man is going to go after it to try to find out what it is, to attempt to conquer it, and to learn how to live.
Sorry guys, there was content that proved that all the Antarctica flights came from one single IP address, but I can't find it. So instead, here are all the screenshots I took from Google Street View in Antarctica. Now, I can't obviously verify these photos, but I'm pretty certain they are of Antarctica, and there's a whole lot of really weird things going on right in front of your eyes or in the background of these images. I just knew you guys would find these images interesting, and I'd love to hear your theories about what is actually going on in Antarctica. I certainly find similarities in the equipment and the gear that they have, including the big orb-type balls they have everywhere. These are synonymous with HARP or weather control. So I definitely think that this could be a potential place where they begin creating hurricanes. This does seem to be the case since hurricanes such as Hurricane Katrina, I think, and quite a few other hurricanes, Hurricane Harvey, seem to come out of Antarctica. I also think there's quite a lot of validity in the ice wall theory. I've been looking into that myself. There's so many bases, over like 70 bases as you've seen at Antarctica. That seems outrageous. But if there was some sort of wall or barrier around the earth that held us in, it makes sense that you'd have bases surrounding the place so as to ensure your sheep, slaves, whatever you want to call us, stay where they're supposed to. Of course, I can't verify either theory, so I'm just sharing my thoughts about it, and I'm not completely 100% certain of any of my thoughts. You'll notice railings, electrical towers, all kinds of really, really bizarre things to have in Antarctica, especially if there's nothing going on there. I also find it highly, highly suspicious that the Nazis prioritized going to Antarctica during the war. If you didn't know that, have a look into that. That is really, really weird. There's actually a photo coming up in a little bit that shows some of the leftover Nazi equipment. Now, why on earth would Nazis be so interested in going to Antarctica? So, they end up doing nuclear testing and explosions that they shoot straight up at the sky here. Not only that, but then the Nazis are taking equipment over there to do all kinds of other experiments too during the war. There's definitely a lot of questions to be asked and to be had about all the towers that are shown throughout here too. I don't know if you can see those in the background so far. You might need to watch back over it. But there's a lot of towers that are synonymous with HARP. Now, if they are doing weather modification from Antarctica, it does make sense because no one's there and no one can spy and see what's going on. In fact, you can't even really get over there on a boat if the whole place is surrounded by bases. If this is encircling the Earth, then it makes sense to have a lot of radio equipment there too, so that you know who's arriving or if anyone's there that isn't supposed to be there. Of course, these are just my theories, and I would absolutely love to hear what you guys think, because there's so many potentials here. And here is that Nazi equipment.
Spanning more than 1 million square miles of Antarctic ocean and ice, it's a refuge for penguins, blue whales, and complex underwater ecosystems.
Antarctica is supposedly over 1 million square miles, the size of India, and we can't go there. And if the Earth is a dipole, which they claim it is, then we would have scrambled readings at the North and South Pole if the magnetic fields affected things like this. So this whole reasoning as to why planes don't fly over Antarctica because of the magnetic fields is bullshit. If Antarctica is surrounding us on the outside, it makes sense as to why it's so cold, because the sun would never directly hit it. Not just that, I mean, don't forget the crazy amount of bases they've got. I'm not going to claim to know definitely what the secret of Antarctica is, but I'm not the first person to wonder about this either. And let's not forget about the pyramids at Antarctica that the History Channel even covered, and the fact that they let off satellites. Yeah, satellites get let off with balloons. But they're also talking about how Antarctica might actually have had life and nature on it, which is kind of against what they're saying to us. They've also completely hidden lots of Antarctica, or these crazy jagged parts of Antarctica on Google Maps. Please go check it yourself. I purposely didn't put it in here for a reason, with the hopes that you guys would look at it. Here's some photos that have been released of things that are going on in Antarctica right now as well. I don't know about you guys, but this also looks concerning. Here's a photo of the Nazis in Antarctica, and also of Richard Byrd's gravestone, which has an upside-down pentagram on it. This video encourages you to do a little bit more research about Antarctica. Maybe it's not quite as boring as you thought it was. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, Ark of Stone!